I had what I believe is quite an interesting idea, and it has to do with traveling back in time in a dream. I think that anything is possible in a dream, including time travel. And it could work off of your memory because I can remember lots of dreams. I have memories from dreams in the past. And if I do believe it would be possible to legitimately go back in time in a dream, and go back, like to a dream that I can remember 10 years ago. But, and then I actually believe it, like if it's a lucid dream and I'm aware that I'm dreaming, but I really do believe that I went back in time in the dream. Is it possible for the mind to be powerful enough to wake up from that dream that you went back in time to, and you're aware that you went back in time with the memories that you had from the future, and you're like, holy crap, I'm back in time, and then you wake up. Would your mind ever be strong enough, if you really truly believed you went back in time, to wake up back in time an equal amount of years that you went back in the dream? It is just a thought that I had that, like, I wonder how much the mind could have an influence on your life. Like, I know that it has a big influence on, like, your perception and all of that, but and if you believe, like, placebos, like, I've heard that placebos work because the person believes that they're actually, like, really the something else, and they're not really what they're taking. So I do believe that what you believe can play a big part on, like, what can happen on affecting the outside world. But I would like to believe that you could actually be able to go back in time, into 10 years in the past, or however far into the past. But that would raise a lot of questions if you did that. One of them being, would the world that you're in come crashing to an end, like the time that you traveled from, the other people and all of that? Would that dimension keep going on? Or is it more of like a solipsistic thing where I do believe that when you wake up from a dream, the dream comes crashing to an end. I don't think the dream actually goes on. I think when you, and I'm talking about when you go to sleep and you have a dream, I think the dream revolves completely around me. People in it are figments of my imagination, and when I wake up, like, all of that ends. So I wonder the same thing about real life, because it, while I'm dreaming, it seems like it's real, and those are actually separate people, and very rarely do I realize that I'm actually dreaming, and that those are just my imagination. Whenever I can't really lucid dream because when I realize that I'm actually dreaming, I can't help it. I wake up. Um, that's what happens to me. I've heard of people who can lucid dream, stay asleep, control their dream. Jealous of that. Uh, when I realize I'm dreaming, I just wake up. But I would think in order to go back in time, it would have to be like a dream. Real life would have to also be like a dream, where like it revolves around you. There's just no way to ever really know that, if it does, or if it's just a dream within a dream. Real life is a dream, and it goes on forever. And like death would be an illusion, or death would never really come. It would appear to come because you see other people in your life die, and you get older through time, but some really weird things could happen, like going back in time in a dream to a previous part in your life when you're younger, or you think you died, or you got really injured. I've been really injured a few times. Stuff that you would think would kill you, and like I had brain surgery. Like if I were to shave my head bald, I have this like big scar on my head. My head feels really misshapen. You can't really see it through the hair, but I jumped off the. When I was in jail, there was 2 floors in my pod, and there was a railing on the second floor, and it was 18 feet. I stood on the railing and jumped and landed right on my head on concrete, and they brought me to the hospital and I had brain surgery and got the blood clots out of my brain. I had blood clots. And yeah, it would have been really expensive if I didn't have Kaiser Permanent. It was like $250,000 it cost them. And yeah, they basically saved my life. But something like that, like I could have really died then, and like the dimension splits off where I just didn't die, even though like I did, and my imagination or whatever kept me alive. Like, and I'm just, because that's something that you would think would kill you for sure, and or at least paralyze you if you didn't die, and somehow that didn't happen to me. I've also been in a really bad car accident and had my head stapled shut. Rolled the car and the car caved in and hit me in the head. That seems a little more likely to be able to survive. But maybe your imagination can keep you alive in ways, even though like you really died in this other dimension. I'm not so sure about all that. It's just a thought. But the time traveling in dreams is like my main focus. I just kind of got off the subject a little bit. And let's see, is there anything else that I can think of to say about time traveling in a dream and your beliefs and how that can change your actual physical world? No, I think I pretty much covered the subject. And yeah, I just wanted to spread the thought. It's just an interesting thought, even if it's like something that could never happen. I would like to believe that it could. If you like 100% believe that you went back in time, I think that would have a lot of say in it. Or if a dream is a real dimension that isn't just created by your imagination, then it could be possible to really go back in time, rather than just go back in time in your imagination, but be unaffected when you woke up. Because if the world were really an outside world, not created by your imagination when you're awake, then that probably wouldn't be possible. But if the outside world is also a dream, then it probably could be possible if, like, solipsism was a real thing, and like, all throughout your existence and all your lives, you are the main focus. Like, everything is created for you. And the double slit experiment and the things they've come to find in quantum physics, like, there's no physical matter. When they look into atoms, they just find, like, electrons circling nucleuses. And they don't find, like, actual physical solid matter. Even though it appears to be solid matter, there's nothing, like, actually physically solid about it. And the double slit experiment is, if they fire two waves of light, or no, electrons. They fire two electrons through two slits, and they're not looking. They just have a machine fire them, and nobody's watching it. They're not watching it. It appears as waves, and it appears that it went through both slits at the same time. So they're like, how the hell is that possible? So they watch. They put a little they put something that can read the measurement, and they fire the electrons through one at a time, and then when they're actually watching, they see that they are electrons, and they hit, like, one area on the wall behind the two slits. And they're like, that's freaking weird. The only thing we changed is we were watching the action. So, the act of observing had to do with if it was a wave or a particle. And if nobody's observing it, then it's just a wave of potential. It can be anything. It's just like, it's just waiting to be identified. It's, like, really weird, the double slit experiment. But, like, that's what it actually is. They've done it numerous times in quantum physics and come up with the same results over and over. It's just, a lot of things about the quantum world seem to suggest that the world is, like, not physically there. It's, like, imagined. It's not physically there and imagined is what the finds of the quantum world seem to conclude upon. And if that's what it really were, then yeah, I think you really could travel back in time in a dream and then wake up from a dream 10 years ago and be back in time in real life. But, and I don't know, it might be possible to create a time machine in real life and do that. I just think it would be less likely to have that happen than in a dream. Because I think anything can happen in a dream, and I hope to dream one day that I find a time machine. I think if you think about something while you're awake, your chances go up of dreaming it. But this isn't a very old thought. Like, I just came up with this like 2 or 3 weeks ago. This thought. And I've only thought about it like a few times. But, yeah, I would like to run into a time machine in my dream one day. And if I ever do, I'll make a video about it, about what happened. Unless, of course, I really do travel back in time to a dream before I had a cell phone or a camera. In which case, nobody would ever know that I was successful.